Welcome to the Grow Your Law Firm podcast, brought to you by Parnall. This podcast helps lead lawyers to more growth, profit, and freedom. Here is your legal marketing expert and host, Ken Hardison.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Grow Your Law Firm. Today, we have the honor and privilege of having Bert Parnall from Albuquerque, New Mexico, Bert Parnall Law Firm. Welcome aboard, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Ken, for having me, and it's my honor and privilege to be asked to be here on your show to talk to you.
Yeah. So I met Bert, I think probably, 2018, 2000, or is it after that or before that? Somewhere.
15 or 16.
Okay. Well, damn. See, I'm getting old. Time flies.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah. So it's been over 10 years. That's great. So the reason I brought Bert on, because he's had some phenomenal growth. He's probably, since I met him, he's probably 8 times his law firm. And I'm not going to share numbers, but he was doing considerably good. Considerably very good. He was doing very well, is all I'll say. And I can say this truthfully, it can't happen to a better person. You're a good person. And I got to know you, that I still know you, that I can call you my friend. I know you're in the masterminds and all that, but left tomorrow, I still consider you one of my great closest friends. And I know I'll give you advice, but you've given me some great advice too over the years. So
you're one of my best friends, Ken, and one of my truest and best mentors as well. And it's been great to talk with you and think with you and learn from you all these years. So that you would give me those remarks is very meaningful to me.
Thank you. Everybody will be like, I know you said, tell us your story, your life story. You can go as far back as you want to, or you can just go back to when you started practicing or when you were the DAs. I'll let you pick wherever you want to start and then bring us up, and then we'll get into more about what would you think the keys were to growing your practice, 8 times over the last 10 years.
Yeah, let's see. Well, I was just going to my buddy's high school police class yesterday talking about my early life, and it was a winding road. And in terms of life story, I'll try and do it in a little bit of a nutshell, but I don't know. I just tried a lot of things. I wasn't sure that I wanted to be a lawyer. I went to law school because I thought, well, my dad was a law professor, the dean, so it was kind of natural. And I liked mock trial. I liked the adversarial nature of it. I liked fighting. I liked wrestling and in high school and football and boxing later in college. And but I liked exploring. I learned how to walk tightrope wire and eat fire and blow fire. And I was a Buddhist monk for a couple of weeks in Laos, and which is standard for young Lao men to get initiated into the culture and the religion of Buddhism. So, I liked adventure, and I liked writing fiction. I almost didn't go to law school, and I quit law school. I went back. I quit law school to write. Ended up going back. I almost didn't take the bar because I thought I was going to write. And then when I took the bar, my parents said, just take the bar, Bert. And I didn't commit to a job. I did some contract work. I even stopped lawyering to substitute teach for a while. I tried a number of things, and then I decided, I'm going to have a family. I want to have a family. I better be a lawyer. I need to commit to my destiny. I was listening to the Bhagavad Gita about committing, to your destiny, because I was thinking about being a yoga teacher. And I thought, okay, I'm not a yoga teacher. I'm a lawyer. And so, come on, Bert, commit. And so I became a prosecutor, bought a house, was looking for somebody to spend my life with. And I met my lovely wife, Marta Parnall, and became the luckiest man in the world. And so from there, we grew. And I love the name of your podcast, Grow Your Law Firm, because I often think that, that's what life is about. It's about growth. She and I have grown so much together. She has helped me throughout my entire career, and she's just been a wonderful support. I couldn't have done it without her. I had a mind bent towards success, but in terms of the commitment and she and I make a great team. So I prosecuted for many years, and I helped a lot of victims of crime. And in that respect, I started helping victims of crime, but in the civil justice world, and also victims of negligence. So those who were wrongfully hurt, whether it was criminal or negligent. and went to a little law firm that kind of dissolved and another law firm that dissolved. And I joined a guy who was a wonderful, brilliant mentor. And and I was working for him and I loved it. And I loved being a lawyer. And I just wanted to put my head down and be a lawyer. And then he became a judge. And then he said, okay, Bert, do you want to take these files? You can. And I said, well, I guess I'll start my business. And I'm an introvert. My kids laugh at that because they see my face plastered all over town and on the TV, and I talk to a lot of people, but I had to learn how to do it. So I started advertising small, and maybe the second year, I suppose, maybe we made $1 million in attorney fees. I had a couple people working for me. No, that was later on. That was like, the third year, maybe I had one lawyer. I don't know. So I loved being a lawyer, but management and marketing were not lawyering. And you helped teach me that. I mean, I knew I had to learn it, and I was finding different ways of learning. And I had a business coach who, coached me, continued to coach me for a long time. But finding like-minded lawyers who were doing what I was doing was really the key. So in 2015 or 16, when I joined your organization and the mastermind, that was a real wake-up call. Like, oh, here's some other people who are learning how to manage and market. I mean, management is a real art form. Working with people. And we all do it in a different way. And I think we have a pretty good way of doing it here. That's culture, right? The culture is a term that is thrown out a lot, around a lot, without thinking deeply about what it means. And what it means is the way you do things, like how you treat each other, the words you use, the type of practice you have, and the way you treat clients, the way you treat each other. It's even the rhythm of your meetings and the way you eat together. And we try and eat together a lot. So I had seen a variety of law offices where I thought, I want the culture to be a good one. And so in the terms of the management, that's been a goal of ours, and it's going pretty well here. And I can talk more about that. But I think that the management and the marketing has been the key to our growth. So in 2015 till now, we've 6, 7, or 8 times. We were making mid 7 figures, I guess, and now we're 8 figures multiple. It's been a journey of learning how to, very helpful being a lawyer in terms of the business I do. And I still get involved in cases to some degree, big cases for, more management decisions, then learning about management and marketing. And the marketing is everybody markets, right? Because marketing means not advertising. It includes advertising.
Yeah.
I'm kind of going on and on here. I'll try and wrap.
You're fine. You're fine. Listen, you're making some good points. I mean, most people don't realize advertising is just a spoke or a big wheel of marketing. Like it's a bicycle wheel. It advertises one spoke, but marketing is a lot of different things.
A lot of different things. Well, marketing really is bringing your service to market. It's finding the demographic, the people who want your service. And your service is what you're trying to do to help the world. I've got a post up on my wall. It's a quote by Muhammad Ali, which I think he got from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. Service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth, because nobody owns this. We're going to check out eventually. It's only a lease. So in terms of my service, it's, my lawyering skills, and now it's my business skills, for what that word means, for whatever skills for what the word is worth in terms of what I have. I think I've got a few skills, but the business skills to be able to market and bring the service of our legal knowledge to those who need it. And so that's been a great journey.
Yeah. So how many lawyers and how many staff do you have?
I've got a team of 110 total, and in that number is 19 lawyers, including me. So we've got, nothing new here, but a little bit different. We don't have pods. We have different teams that work with all the lawyers, meaning all the case managers work with all the lawyers, and all the paralegals work with all the lawyers. And why is that? Well, pods are efficient because one person gets to know how the lawyer works. But here, we have these principles and processes where you don't do it how this person does it or that person does it. It's you do it this way. And it's in a way it's constraining, but it also makes things more consistent, and it makes people a little bit more disciplined. And it's, it's not really the lawyer stuff, it's the process stuff and so it makes everybody a little bit more disciplined about following one kind of process and getting to know everybody. So it's really good for building a team.
I think it really helps you with scaling too.
Yeah.
Place, you know what I'm saying? And if a lawyer leaves, when you first told me your system, I looked at it and I don't know if I like that, but you make it work. And the thing is, biggest advantage, I think you realize it is, a lot of times when lawyers leave a firm and they've got a pod, they'll end up taking some of their people. Take cases, but they'll also take their key people with them. I would imagine that doesn't happen much. They do leave you. I know you got a really good culture on leave, but I think that would prohibit or like you said, restrain from people from doing it. Seemed to me, I first saw when you were doing it, I had never seen anybody do it exactly that way. But if you've been doing it and it worked, kudos to you, because it does. I think it helps scale it, and it keeps everything, all the alignment with all the processes. Like you said, is we're doing it or not. It might be, there's different ways to do things, but we're going to do it this way. And when we onboard new people, which is part of scaling, everybody knows this is the way we do this is the way we do that. And there's no question about it. To me, that makes for a smooth ship. And by the way, I wanted their listeners and the viewers to know, Bert, that you won a lot of awards for culture. Remember correctly, Ed, it's none of this stuff like just getting people to vote in the newspaper. Can you tell us about that? Because I think that says a lot about another reason you.
Or our top workplace award. Yeah. Our local paper, the Albuquerque Journal, runs this contest and survey, and there's these anonymous emails. And it's a company in Pennsylvania that sends these emails to my employees, and they answer them. And we just got notice 2 days ago, we've won it for the 7th year in a row. In our category, we're not always number one in our category. There's lots of companies, but we win the award, and we're probably the only law firm these past couple of years to be in the category in the large workplace. And it's really, and I get to read some of the comments, and they're really a lot of great comments. I mean, it makes me feel good about what I do and the business that I've helped to create with my team. That comes from, and our values are the 5 T's: team, talent, truth, tenacity, and triumph. And the first one is team. And we have everybody read The Ideal Team Player by Patrick Lencioni, which he breaks it down to being, okay, what is the ideal team player? Being humble, not meek, not confident, but having some humility. Trial lawyers is a little bit of a challenge, but being hungry, ambitious, and being smart with people. So, we talk about team and all those values in our hiring, in our reviews of people, of employees, and in our meetings, and in our discipline or firing, when we think about firing. So that award, as well as the best place to work, which we've run for 6 years in a row, they've been very meaningful to us. So I think law offices don't think too much about the welfare and the well-being. I don't mean to criticize. They're, heads down, focused on cases. But I think cases go better if people enjoy what they're doing and the people they're doing it with. And then the teams that I've built, the way that I've done it without no pod, they become more, team oriented, more loyal to each other and to the firm, and both the staff, but also the lawyers. They're very collaborative. And as far as that process, we do write it down, and it's something that needs to be followed. But the lawyers get a say. Quarterly, we have best practice meetings where we talk about whether we should, and all the lawyers get to attend and talk about whether we should change the process. And the management here, our ears are wide open to what will work better.
Well, you got to. They're gonna really know more. They're I call it the front lines. They're in the battlefield. We're sitting up on the mountain directing traffic, but they really know how it's really like down in the ditches.
Yeah.
in the thought. Yeah. So what I'm hearing is people, and that is like, Bert Parnall says, no great business is built on the back of average people. And so you got to have good people. And how do you get good people? Build a good culture. And I told you that many times before. I thought that might be your number one superpower. As far as of all the firms I've worked with over the years, yours is one of the best, if not the best, I've ever done with culture, employees. I mean, you just got it together. I mean, and that.
Well, I truly appreciate hearing that. I know there's a lot of lawyers and law firms through in your group that I really respect and learn from and listen to, and they've got a lot of great ways of doing it. So I will maintain my own humility because I know I have a lot of learning and growing to do. But I also celebrate our accomplishments and our strengths, and I'm very grateful for them. So yeah, thank you for that.
What else do you think helped move the needle over this last 10 years? I mean, that's phenomenal growth. I mean, it's clear to me the bedrock is the people and the culture. But what else did you do? What else did you do? Or what things did you learn? Or what mistakes did you make?
I think this also, I wanted to go back to something you were saying about what Bert Harnish said about growth, about what did you say?
I said no great business was built on the back of average people. You
Yeah.
got to have A players.
Something we say here is to add lead followers, to multiply lead leaders. So we try and lead leaders here. We are open to people growing, those who are, like I said, we listen to lawyers' suggestions. We don't accept everyone because boy, lawyers they're a fun and feisty group sometimes. But we try to encourage people to be leaders within their own role, to lead by example and to lead up. And that's another thing that's helped our growth. I think is that our ears are open and that we encourage that kind of growth, and we're interested in investing in people's growth because everybody wants to do more and learn more and grow more. I mean, if they don't, then they shouldn't be in this firm. So everybody here, anyway, that's what we're looking for. And yeah, in terms of you asked me what else has helped. So you've asked me to, speak at some of your conferences about hiring, and I've spoken elsewhere about hiring. And I think that's one of our strengths. One of our great strengths is hiring and be very selective, sometimes to a fault, and sometimes we'll exclude a good candidate mistakenly, but it's better than accepting the wrong candidate mistakenly. So we have a pretty rigorous and strict hiring process. I don't even participate in it much anymore, which I never imagined that I would do. I always thought I would be involved in every step, which I was, but that's another key to growth is me, becoming and being the CEO and letting my seniors leaders lead, and I can't do everything. So anyway, the hiring is definitely something that I think we've become pretty good at.
Bert, she said something very, very important. My mentors have taught me this over the years, that your job as a business owner, one of your main jobs is to coach up leaders, is to help develop leaders. Because like you said, if you're going to scale, you can't do it all yourself. So, and they're not going to, the lid's you. If you can't get them up, I mean, wherever you're at, they're not going to go above you. But the deal is, your job is to coach people up to be leaders, finding the right ones. And I think that's got a lot to do with it. I love the fact that you're not even involved in hiring anymore. I'm not either at Film anymore. We're very small compared to your firm. But the deal is, I'm going to work on stuff that I love doing, and I feel like my strength. And I just want to manage managers. I don't want. I mean, I don't want to manage people. And as you get bigger, you got to. People listen out there. What Burton said is very, very important. Everybody thinks it's all about marketing and advertising. It's not. There's a lot more to building a people.
Oh yeah. I mean, just the first step in the process. I mean, in terms of the marketing, yeah, we're marketing and advertising, but once somebody thinks, okay, this might be the law firm for me, and they make that call, that goes to intake. then the management is key to, training and making sure they're empathetic and that they say the right things the right way and help to, that's continued marketing, making sure that that caller knows that we're the right firm. But yeah, if you're not catching the rain, then you're wasting your money.
You're right.
In terms, marketing is making the rain. I tell them the intake, I'm helping make the rain, and you're catching the rain.
How many intake people do you have now?
I think probably 8.
That's well. And I remember when I first met you, and one.
Oh, yeah.
If one.
We had just hired one.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's great growth. That's kind of eight times intake people 8 times the growth. And yeah, that's wild. And I think most lawyers overlook that. I think it's a lot better now than when 10 years ago. I think law firms are figuring it out, but I think figured it out a lot quicker. Most people. Well, I think that's very, very important. That's the first thing I tell lawyers. They say, "Where do I start?" I say, "Start at intake." Because no money goes. No reason to spend a lot of money if you're not going to. As you said, if you're not going to catch the rain, there's no need to spend a lot of money making it rain.
Mm-hmm.
Waste.
Exactly.
That's good advice. That's good advice. Yeah. So we got culture, the hiring, the leadership, intake. Anything else out there? I know there's a lot of pieces to building an empire. A lot to it.
Well, I think, the business coaching that you've given me has been instrumental. So I always knew that writing down my own goals was extremely important. And so writing down goals is essential to growth. But, what's the cadence? When are you going to write them? When are you going to review them? When are you going to talk about them? And so annual planning is essential to developing those annual goals, and then quarterly planning to review and revise those goals. So we have 1 to 1.5 days for each of those. So just being disciplined with certain business processes, whether you learn them through Vern Harnish's Scaling Up and the Rockefeller habits, which are really good habits we would pick one every quarter to focus on each one Rockefeller habit. Like, the first habit is the executive team healthy and aligned. And there's 10 habits out there that are essential to that success. Whether it's Vern Harnish's or whether it's Dan Sullivan's or Action Coach, et cetera, there are various business systems where you kind of get some discipline with respect to working on the business and not in the business, but never forgetting the mission. It's while I've talked about the business and that I've learned how to do this business a little better, the business is law, and our mission as plaintiffs' personal injury lawyers, and we shout this out in our Monday firm-wide huddle. I spend half an hour with all 110 people, and every one of them gets to talk and tell us all what is your win or your shout out. So a win from the last week or a shout out acknowledging somebody else, and usually it's the latter, and they talk about, and it's a great way to start the week. This is incidental to what I'm about to say, but it's a great way to start the week and talk about our gratitude for the people around us. And just hearing that, it gets us in the right frame of mind. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, the mission. So we all shout out our mission, which is fighting for justice for the wrongfully hurt. I had some longer, eloquent, and a little more complicated statement that really was nice a number of years ago, but nobody remembered it. And really, it was in terms of being just concise and simple, not easy, fighting for justice for the wrongfully hurt. Break it down. Anyway, that's our mission. And all of our business is centered on helping those clients. It's not about the management and the marketing, and the lawyering is all about serving those who are wrongfully hurt. And it's a hard business. It's a hard business where we're, trying to serve people who are at the end of their rope or beyond it because they've been killed or they're suffering because of immense pain. So, bringing it back to, not always. I can't think about that 100% of the time. And you have to think about the mechanics. And that's why we do what we do, because they're thinking about it 100% of the time. They're the ones lying in that hospital bed. They're the ones mourning the loss of their son, mother, father, husband, friend. But just having the humility to know that we lead their case, we captain their case, but we serve them. We think about money because that's the way we measure what we do. And we're trying to get our clients money. Thinking about what that money represents is essential to doing a good job.
I had a saying, and I told it part of our deal with them. Everything we do should be for the benefit of our clients. If you're taking an action or doing something or not doing something, it should be for the benefit of our, not for the benefit of our clients that don't do it. Like a little litmus test. And I felt like it. If you ever got into a situation, what should I do? Just repeat that to yourself. And I don't, in what you're saying, everything is for the client. I mean, money will come, as you have found out very clearly. And when I stop worrying about how much, you got to worry about the business part of it, but like just the growth for growth's sake. I mean, like I'm doing 10 million, I want 30 million. If you do all the things you're doing on the back end, and at first you will and treat them right and do the other things you're doing, employees right, you're going to grow the business. That's just a logical, it's going to happen. No, it's just all the stuff that you're doing. And I think that's got a lot to do with it too. When I quit worrying about that, I mean, I had to worry about my percentages and all this because, talking about going from 5 million profit to 20 million. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, you still got to know your numbers and keep names and run it like a business. But I'm saying is, quit being what everybody thinks we are, greedy, PI lawyers. Quit being greedy, abundance and beneficial, playful to your client. Your money will come, I promise. You're living proof of it. I mean, I think I was living proof of it. I mean, I grew from 500,000 to 8 million in like 5 years. And I won't even get a law. I won't even get a lawyer. But the deal was, everything I did was for the benefit. It was always putting in for. You can get that mindset in your firm, not just you, but the whole firm with your lawyers and your staff. I think the referrals will come. You don't even have to spend as much money marketing. I bet you get a lot of referrals. I've ever asked you that. I bet you. I know you do a lot of TV and a lot of everything, but I guess you still get a lot of clients.
We have a lot of referrals. We get 40 to 50% referrals, which is not standard for, I think, this industry. And that's because I think we have a lot of, and I pay a lot in employee costs. I pay more than those in the industry probably pay because I have great people and I'm not as concerned about my share, and I want to reward them well, and they feel well rewarded, and they do great work, and that in turn brings clients back or brings them and compels them to spread the word and refer cases. So yeah, that's been a big engine of our growth. I say this carefully, not thinking about the money. Like you said, if you think less about the money, don't concentrate solely on it, then just do the right thing, then it comes. I mean, you still have to think about it. I mean, I'm just thinking of one example here, and we have to walk this line carefully, but there are some cases where there's just a terrible injustice, a driver will kill somebody or catastrophically injures them, for example, and there's no insurance. Oh, are we just going to drop the case because there's no money? No, not necessarily. We talk to the client. We tell them about their options in terms of getting a default judgment. And sometimes they do want that. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes maybe there's some small hope that there will be you put a lien on their county clerk's office on all their real property that they might own. And if they ever acquire something or sell something, then, we've got a lien on it. It doesn't happen very often. But they may want that outside hope. They may want the piece of paper, the default judgment represents something to them, and they may want that. And we talk to them about that. And the emotional cost it'll take to get there. I mean, financial cost as well, which, we're often and usually willing to front, but there's an emotional cost of going through all of that, through the default, the hearing on damages, potential that the defendant is going to represent himself or herself. So sometimes the client will want to do that and sometimes they won't, but it's not going to make us any money, and it's going to burn money in terms of attorney hours, all our hours. So that's just one example of something we try to think about in the representation we give to our clients. Yeah, I think that's what I wanted to say on
Yeah, about treating people right. The money will come. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wanted to say this. You were talking about, your clients. I'm one of your clients, right? In the same way that I try and help my clients, you've helped me, and I chose you because you're not concerned about the money. I mean, yeah, you think about it, but I mean, there are a number of organizations out there, which I think you helped spawn because you've done such a good job that there are a lot of personal injury lawyer masterminds, et cetera. And some of them are, I hear quite good, and I don't mean to knock or criticize them, and they have their own strengths, but I've always valued the way you run things because, you have a certain humility and confidence but genuine desire to help your clients grow. So, and you.
Thank you. That's my goal. I'll be honest with you. Just like when I practice law, I feel like if I do everything I can to help you guys get to where you want, whatever that might be, then it'll come back. And I've been blessed. It has. We never thought Pimble would be as big as it is. Never. Well, it was like a hobby. I started Pimble as a hobby, and it turned into something, pretty big. It makes me want to get up in the morning and slay some more dragons, man, instead of just sitting around. Yeah. All right. So any last parting words, Bert, to any viewers or listeners out there, if like they're stuck or what would you really want to affirm to the next level?
Well, in addition to just thanking you once again, Ken, and concluding it that way with my gratitude to you, I guess I would say if anybody has listened to this point, I'm grateful to you for listening and thinking about some of the things that I've had to say. And so in that respect, I'd welcome any questions or comments. My phone number is 505-453-4989. If you'd like to call me,
thank you.
Text me, then I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Bert. That's very generous. All right, thank you, and I'll see you at the summit. Hopefully, are you coming this year? All right, good deal. I'll see you there. Until next time, this is Ken Hardison, dedicated to your success.
You have been listening to the Grow Your Law Firm podcast, the podcast that leads lawyers to more growth, profit, and freedom. Go to growyourlawfirm.com to find more ways to market and manage your law firm. Please leave us a rating and review wherever you listen to your podcasts.